Analyzing the Tao of Jeet Kune. This will be part 11. We will be on page number 12. Jeet Kune favors formlessness so that it can assume all forms, and since Jeet Kune has no style, it can fit in with all styles. As a result, Jeet Kune utilizes all ways and is bound by none, and likewise uses any techniques or means which serve its end. So Jeet Kune is formless, it's like the water, it's shapeless. It can assume all forms, it has no style. To even call it Jeet Kune, you can't even call it something. Calling it something is already labeling it. Labeling it already is setting a limitation on it. It's formless, it's shapeless, and it shouldn't even have a name. It utilizes all ways, is bound by none. Like whatever is necessary in order for a certain situation, then that's what you have to do. Uses any techniques or means which serve its end. So there are no limitations, there are no rules. It's bound by nothing. So you notice Jeet Kune is limitless. When you look at people saying that he's the father of MMA, there's a lot of limitations when it comes to MMA, cage fighting. The limits of the cage, the limits of what is allowed within that cage and what is not allowed within that cage. It's revolved around rules. All sports are revolved around rules, so there's limits. Rules imply limitations. Jeet Kune is limitless, so in street combat it's limitless. In the animal kingdom it's limitless. There's no rules that govern how animals will hunt each other down. That's real wildlife. And when it comes to real street combat, there are no rules. It's limitless. Yes, the law tries to say, you can't do this, you can't do that. But when it comes down to the real fighting, the law has nothing to do with it. It's just anything goes at that moment. And it's survival training. It's very different than sport training. Approach Jeet Kune with the idea of mastering the will. Forget about winning and losing. Forget about pride and pain. Let your opponent graze your skin and you smash into his flesh. Let him smash into your flesh and you fracture his bones. Let him fracture your bones and you take his life. Do not be concerned with your escaping safely. Lay your life before him. So you're always willing to take it a step above. Like you're just not afraid of death. And when you're not afraid of death, you become extremely dangerous and effective in whatever you do when it comes to defending yourself. It's like you're willing to just put everything on the line. You have no limit. So you always take it a step above in order to protect yourself, whatever the case may be. You're not even concerned about the law. Do not be concerned with your escaping safely. A lot of people analyze, well, am I allowed to defend myself in this situation according to the law? And then, should I do this, should I do that, because I don't want to go to jail? Well, those are implying limitations. It's just, when it comes to survival, you just do whatever you need to do to survive. The law will come after. You know, you follow your instincts in that moment that has no limits. You know, like the animal kingdom, if there's an animal getting hunted down, he's not concerned about the courts and the law. He's just surviving that moment. He's doing what he has to do for that moment. You know, so when it comes to combat, and it's real combat, good chances you'll get hurt. But you have the will to make that person have more pain than you. You know, that you're going to keep taking it a step above and take it to the very end. Whereas in combat sport, you're competing for pride and ego and fame and money. No combat sport ever existed in modern times that allows the combatants to kill each other. And there you see that that's not real combat. Real combat is just, you take it as far as it needs to go. If it ends at you breaking his bones and then it ends the fight, okay, so be it. But if he breaks your bones, then you take his life. And okay, your bones got broken, but he's no longer breathing, he's dead. You're still alive. So you survived. You know, real combat is not, it might not even be about skill and talent. It's just about your strong will. Like, what are you willing to do to survive? And the person that has the strong will be the person that will survive. The great mistake is to anticipate the outcome of the engagement. You ought not to be thinking of whether it ends in victory or in defeat. Let nature take its course, and your tools will strike at the right moment. Do not anticipate the outcome of the engagement. So you need to be in meditation. If you're not in meditation and your mind is there and is thinking, you've already lost. You know, you've already hindered your potential for your ultimate expression. You know, you shouldn't be thinking at all when you're in a moment of survival. You just respond, you know, and let things happen as they happen. You're not even afraid of death because there's no mind. And when you're in meditation, then you will respond with the most efficient way, in the most efficient way that you possibly can respond. And that's the best that you can do. You know, it's about survival. So in order to reach your potential, in combat, you need to be in meditation. There's no time for thinking. The thinking will hold you back and limit you. When you have no thoughts and you're in meditation, then you have no limits. Jeet Kune teaches us not to look backward once the course is decided upon. It treats life and death indifferently. So in order to not look backward once you've chosen a course, you need to be in meditation. You need to have no mind. There's no regrets. Whatever you choose to do is what you do, and you go with it, and there's no mind looking back to say, hey, maybe I should have done it this way. No. You just go with it. You know, and you transcend the fear of death. So it's almost like you get to the point where there is no death. Everything is life. Death is a part of life. And you're ready to die. This moment or the next. So when you're in an engagement, it doesn't even matter if you die or you live. You're just responding to that moment in meditation. And that's the ultimate way to survive. Just being in the moment in meditation. There's no fear. Because if there's no such thing as death, then what is there to fear? If life just transforms and it's a recycle, then there's nothing to fear. And when a person is truly in meditation with no fear, then even if you kill him, you haven't really killed him. He's eternal. He's deathless. So we'll end it right there for this video.